Hello everyone, my name is Miss Electoli. I am a faculty of English at Edufy Institute and welcome back again for and joining us together for another lesson on grammar. Today we're going to talk about the very concept of subject and verb agreement. Now you may wonder as to what is the importance of this topic, and that is whenever you have a subject of grammar, in especially when you're appearing for competitive exams like banking, like NSSB, NPSC also. When you look at the grammar portion, there is a very important topic, and that is the exercises of sentence error correction and all these type of topics. Now when you have that, in order for you to understand whether the sentence has been written correctly and whether you are able to identify the errors, you will always have to have a knowledge about the subject and verb agreement, and that is what we're going to deal with today. So first, let's look at what is subject and verb agreement. When we talk about subject and verb agreement, it basically is in the title itself. It means that the subject and the verb must always be in agreement when you want to make a complete meaning sentence that is grammatically correct. So when we look at this, rule number 1 states that subject verb agreement encompasses the idea that the singular verb will have a singular subject will have a singular verb, and a plural subject will have a plural verb. So when you look at this, it means that whenever you have a sentence and the subject is singular, then the verb that comes with it, that the verb used in the sentence must be singular. If you have a plural subject, a subject that is plural, that means when we say subject, it basically means the noun or the pronouns within the sentence. So whoever or whatever is the subject and it is plural, then you will have to write a plural verb in that sentence. So let's take a look at these examples. Rachel spends her free time listening to music. Now, when we look at this sentence, we have one subject, and that is Rachel. We're talking about the subject Rachel. So when this is a singular subject, the verb will be singular, right? So therefore, what have we found here? This is a singular verb. Any sentence that contains a singular subject must become a singular verb. Now, if you are unable to understand how this becomes a singular verb, let's take a look at the singular and plural verb. Singular verbs will always have s, es, or ing at the end of those action words. When we look at plural verbs, they will not have s, not have es, or not have ing at the end of the word. So for example, if I say walks, this is a singular verb. If you want to make it a plural verb, you erase the s. So walk will be the plural verb. Keep that concept in mind. As we move forward, you will get more and more examples of that. So in the second sentence, we look at this sentence. Blaine and Kurt play the piano. Now here we have same, another one and two subjects, that is Blaine and Kurt. That means two subject means plural subjects, and according to the rule it says that when you have plural subjects you will have plural verbs, and that is a grammatically correct sentence. Whenever you have plural subjects, the verbs will become plural. Whenever you have a singular subject, the verb will become singular. And what is the difference between this singular and plural verb? One has s in it, whereas the other one is devoid of any s at the end of the word. That is the main idea. When you look at this, it also implies, the first rule also implies that when we say the subject, right? The subject includes nouns, pronouns, or even noun phrases. So let's take a look at this example, the next one. She likes to have dessert. When we see the word she is a pronoun that is singular in nature. So when we have a singular pronoun, again, we will also write the verb in singular form. So singular pronoun will have singular verb. According to this rule, we have understood that three main things are there in this type of question, in this type of rule, and that is when the subject is singular, the verb also becomes singular. When the subject is plural, the verb also becomes plural. Also, when you have pronouns like he, she, I, we, the verb, sorry, not we, he, she, I will have a singular verb. But then when we move on to plural pronouns like they, we, us, then that becomes a plural verb again. You will have to use a plural verb along with the plural pronouns. So when we look at this, let's take a look at this one. The team is winning the game. Do you think the sentence is correct? The team is winning the game. It is a correct sentence. Why is that? Because here the team is signifying something that is singular. We're talking about a group of people as one, the team, right? So when I say the team, I'm referring to a singular subject, so therefore the verb will also be singular, which is winning. If I write the teams, then this one I'm referring to more than one team. So therefore, I will have to write the verb are winning the game. So basically changes the verb into plural verb if the subject was plural. So according to this rule, subject must always agree with the verb. Let's move on to the second rule, that is the be verb form. When we say be verb form, it basically implies all the auxiliary verbs that we use, also known as helping verbs. And what are the be forms of verb are? Three forms. When we look at be forms, it is three forms, and that is to be, to do, and to have. These are the three forms of the verb form. And under this, we have this one. So under to be, we have all the different forms of auxiliary verbs again. What are they? Is, am, are, was, were. These are all the different forms of be. And when we look at that, we will see that it has a main connection with pronouns. That means whenever we use the be form, we must always look at the subject. And also when we use pronouns, that is first person, second person, and third person personal pronouns, we also make use of this be form. So let's take a look at the correct usage. These forms will keep on changing according to the persons used in the sentence. If we are using the first person singular, that is I, then we will use the verb am. And for example, in the sentence, I am confident, you will never write I is confident or I are confident. Am will always be used with the first person singular. So remember that one. Next one, first person plural. That means we is a first person pronoun, right? But then it's not singular because we refers to a group of people and not just one. So therefore, if it is a if it's a plural person and that is in the first person, then you will write the verb are. For example, we are confident. You cannot write we am confident, we is confident, we was. It cannot be correct. We are confident will be the correct answer. Now, second person. Now, when you look at this you, it is a singular person. We always consider them as singular. But then when we look at the usage, we also consider them as a plural second person. Because when we say second person, we only use you. You is the only pronoun that is considered as second person. Therefore, we will consider them as a singular and a plural verb plural pronoun as well. So when you have you are will be the right answer. If you want to write this, are is in the present form. If you want to write in the past form, then you will have to write you were, right? So we are considering them as the plural in the verb form. So whenever you have second person singular or plural, then you will have to write it in are or were. Are when we are using them in the present form, and were in the past form. So, for example, you are confident is the right answer, or you can write you were confident. So, this is the correct usage when we talk about subject and verb agreement in the pronouns form. Now, again, when we look at the third person singular, what is the third person? When the person who is speaking and the listener is talking about somebody else that is out of the topic within two people, and that is considered as the third person. And third person singular are words like she, he, and it. Now, when we have third person singular, the verb that we use is. He is, she is, it is, right? And if you want to write this in the past form, you can write she was, he was, it was. So it's a singular verb with singular third person pronoun. For example, he is confident is the correct usage. How we see that he is a singular third person, therefore the verb that I've used is singular. If you want to write this in the past form, you can write he was confident, not were, not are, not anything else, but rather just singular verb. In the third person, when we say third person plural, what does it mean? Words like they and them are considered as third person plural. Whenever you have they, you will have to write are. They are. So when we see this, they are confident, this is the right form. Because the plural verb is used when we have third person, which is plural subject. So you can, if you want to write this in the past form, you can also write they were confident. Again, were is used to signify a plural subject in the past form. Are is used to signify the plural third person in the present form. Take a look at this example. Santana is a singer. This is a correct sentence according to you? Yes. Why? Because we have Santana who is a singular subject, right? And along with Santana, we have a singular verb. So is this subject agreeing with the verb? Yes. Is this a grammatically correct sentence? Yes. If we look at the second sentence, the girls are waiting for you. We have the subject, the girls, which is a plural subject. When you have a plural subject, according to the rule, you must have a plural verb. So therefore, again, it exemplifies the very rule that the plural subject will have a plural verb. So this sentence is a correct sentence. Next one, when we move on to the next sentence, we have a plural pronoun, we. We is a plural pronoun, right? First person plural. So when we have that, and I am going to signify it as a plural subject, the verb will again become plural. Why did I write we were instead of are? Both of this can be correct with we. But why did I write were? Because when you look at the sentence, it is talking about someone's actions in the past. We were happy with the result. If I am writing are, I'm talking about this in the present form. So it basically has to do with past and present. If you want to refer to the action of being happy in the past, then you will write we were happy. If you want to refer your action of being happy in the present, you will write we are happy. But the main thing is that both of them are plural verbs, agreeing with the plural pronoun again. So that is the end of this very rule. The next rule, rule number 3, if you look at this, it is going to talk about the use of the words has and have. What is the difference? The main difference that you have to understand is has is used with a singular subject, whereas have is used with a plural subject. Let's take a look at the examples here. You will find all the answers here. So, if for example, I have used I as the subject. So, I is singular, right? So, I have a younger brother. Is this correct? You cannot write I has a younger brother here. Now there is a reason why that happens, okay? When we have has or have, the verbs are used in the present perfect tense and present perfect continuous tense. Whenever you have has or have, always consider the sentence it is in a present form. That is, either it's in the present perfect or present perfect continuous tense. Now, the reason that I've used I have here is because of the pronoun I. Even though it is a subject that is singular, I will have to use the word have. Here, you have taken the wrong cut. You is a plural second person pronoun, again, as we talked about earlier on. So, therefore, the verb will also have a singular verb have. Let's move on to the next one. That is, in the next example, we have Shweta has a pet dog. Shweta here is a singular subject. Therefore, the verb will also be singular here. So, this is the correct usage in the sentence. Again, in the next sentence, if you look at the sentence, can you identify whether the sentence is correct? William Shakespeare has written around 37 plays. When you look at this one, this means this subject is singular. We don't have multiple William Shakespeares. We only have one, right? So when we are referring to one subject, again, we will have a singular verb, that is has. Finn has been waiting. This is also present perfect continuous tense because we have ing in the main verb, so it is understood as present perfect continuous. And Finn is the subject here, who is a singular subject. Again, you will have to use the verb has. Let's take a look at this example. Try to see which one has the correct answer. She dash a new job. Which one do you think is the right answer? It is, since we have a singular pronoun that is in the third person, what do we use? We will use the verb has. She has a new job. Now we have they here. They is a plural subject. Now, according to the rules that we have discussed from the beginning, we will have to use this one. They have finished their homework. And that is how we understand the correct usage of has and have in grammar. So if you want to learn more such interesting topics, such interesting ways to approach your exams as well, please continue to engage with us, and we'll see you again next time. Have a nice day.